Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to talk about my friend Adam. I mentioned him in the last video when we were talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time, because Adam and I met on the school bus. In fact, the picture of the school bus that's in the thumbnail is the same model of school bus that we met on. So I have these memories of TMNT, Turtles in Time, wrapped up with meeting Adam and being on that school bus. And I would have been in 7th grade, and Adam was in 6th grade, the same grade as my brother, and he was on my bus route. The bus route was pretty rural, and big surprise, right? Iowa. The bus route went into town a little bit, but it was mostly all rural. We pull up to this farmhouse, and these two new kids get on that were not the kids that got on last year when I was in 6th grade. And at some point, I'm pretty sure Adam was playing a Tiger Electronics handheld game. I don't remember which one. Of course, I see this and I'm like, oh, do you like video games? And this strikes up a conversation about video games. And I kind of mentioned this in my episode, The Common Denominator, in that when I got older, my main interest of entertainment was not toys anymore, but it was video games. And that's how the dynamic switched from meeting friends. Instead of talking about Masters of the Universe figures like with Chris, I was talking about video games. And that's how Adam and I struck up a conversation and became friends, and that this wasn't a superficial friendship. It's kind of weird. Our friendship was very slow to progress. I primarily just talked to Adam on the school bus, and when he would get invited over. So he was really my brother's friend. He invited my brother over to his house numerous times. My brother invited him over a few times, and that's when I would interact. But I don't know what changed. As we got older, I don't know. He invited me over to his house one night, and his stepmom was like, oh, so this is the elusive Jason that we've heard of for years but never met. But I don't know, like, he was just kind of my brother's friend, and I don't know what changed, but we started hanging out more together. He started inviting me over to his house, and I started inviting him over to my place. At least for me, in my opinion, I guess I should say. Adam became my best friend, and I feel like I was Adam's best friend, because the bond that we forged was very strong when I was in high school. And we were like brothers. We played together and we fought like brothers. And that bond really kind of spilled over into the rest of his family. I really view Adam's family as my second family. I view his stepmom and his father as a second set of parents, and I view his sisters as my sisters. I've been to numerous graduation ceremonies, weddings. You know, I was very much a part of that family when I was in high school and college. And then, you know, we all grew up. We all got families, and we all started living in our own households. And you just kind of grow apart, but the memories are still there, and the love and appreciation is still there for all of them in that family. I have never had a friendship that strong before Adam or since meeting Adam. I mean, if you really want to boil down to a best friend, like this is what it would be. It was a very strong friendship. Like I said, it took time to mature, but eventually when high school came around, we were like tied at the hip. We did so much stuff together. We did so many overnights together, me going over to his house and him coming over to mine. We played so many video games together. We saw numerous console generations together as friends. You know, we became friends during the 16-bit era, and we're friends all the way through high school during the 32 and 64-bit eras. And then as we started to grow up and grow apart, that was really like the Xbox, PS2, GameCube era. And so I've got memories of us playing all these games together. I don't remember if I mentioned Adam or not when in my NES wrap-up video. He is the one who gave me Super Spike V-Ball. He did not want that game anymore and gave it to me. So as a kid, the last NES game that I ever got came from Adam. Just the memories I have of us hanging out, just the stupid stuff that kids do. And when we both got our driver's license and the stupid stuff teenagers do behind the wheel of a car. My first car was a 1990 Olds Cutlass. Not exactly the car that a teenager wants. 4-door Cutlass Supreme front-wheel drive V6. Very nice car, and I knew it too. Like, the car was only like 6 or 7 years old, so very nice car. I had one of the nicest cars in high school, although it was kind of mine, but kind of wasn't. I'm not going to get into that, but Adam's first car was an 87 Beretta. We didn't do too much in that car, but he eventually got a 1990 Mustang GT. And we did a lot of stuff in that car. We broke a lot of traffic laws and generally had a good time. I learned how to drive a stick in that car. My stepdad, I think he tried to teach me in his Maxima. I have faint memories of going out once and not really getting it, stalling his car a bunch, and we didn't practice for very long. But a Mustang has got enough low-end torque that you really don't have to push the throttle to get it moving. If you're on flat ground, we went out to a local community college into a big open flat parking lot. You can let that clutch out slow enough and give it a little bit of throttle that you can get the car moving. So I don't know how often I even stalled it. I don't think it was often, but I was able to get down the fundamentals of stopping or starting from a stop and then shifting gears. And my other friend in high school, Brian, he had an 87 Mustang GT. And so I kind of got the fundamentals down in Adam's car and then really learned and honed my craft. I don't know how I describe that, but I really kind of learned how to drive a stick driving Brian's Mustang because he was very carefree. Like, he'd let me take the car and just go out for a drive. And so I put a lot of miles into his car. And really, I think some of it at the expense of his own gas. And really learned how to drive a stick. Yeah, I've got a lot of memories of goofy stuff happening when we were kids at overnights. I remember one time at my house, my brother was eating this pudding cup that was chocolate and vanilla together, and Adam started shaking it up so it blended the flavors together, and my brother got pissed. And he threw the pudding cup at the floor, and it ended up breaking, and pudding like blew up and flew all over the carpet and like splattered on this wall. And I didn't know how to clean it up. And I'm like, oh crap. So then I got to ask my mom and stepdad for help, which means they found out that this happened. I don't remember them being overly upset, but I remember being worried that we were going to get into trouble. Because there was times, we were in the basement of that house where the living room was at, and there was times where we were too loud, and the living room was right below my mom and stepdad's bedroom. So when we got too loud, my stepdad would start pounding the floor, above us. And I don't know if that happened that night or not, but if I had to ask my mom and stepdad for help after they went to bed, I knew I was not going to be their favorite person. Let's just say that. So I can remember that time when I would spend the night at Adam's house, they did not have air conditioning. And I can remember just stifling summer nights, sleeping on a mattress on the floor of his bedroom. And we'd have the ceiling fan going on like medium or high. And I would take his micro machines and I'd throw them up into the ceiling fan so they would ricochet off and just go, flying off and occasionally hit us. What else? When we both got our driver's licenses and had cars, Adam worked in town, and every Friday night he would spend the night at my mom's place. And didn't even have to ask. Like, at first he asked, And then it was just kind of known that Adam was going to spend Friday night at my place. Saturday morning he was going to go to work, and then he would come home. And I really can't talk about all the memories I have of Adam because they stretch from middle school all the way into high school and college. And there's stuff that I want to talk about for future episodes, but I don't know if I've really done a good job of driving home the point that our friendship was extremely strong, and that did spill over into his family to where his family is like my second family. They're more than friends. And even though we don't have time to do stuff and hang out anymore, they are still more than friends to me. They are family. And the game that we're going to play today is a game that Adam introduced to me. It was Adam's birthday, and I think his mom just asked him what he wanted, and he wanted a Super Nintendo. And so he got a Super Nintendo, and he got a couple games. I don't remember how many, but this game was one of them. And I absolutely fell in love with this game. To this day, still, I absolutely love it. Adam and I played this game so much when we were kids that I had this game completely memorized like the back of my hand and could just blow through it with utter confidence. Confidence I do not have anymore because I'm not as good at this game anymore. I don't play it as often. So that game is Contra III: The Alien Wars. I really like run and guns. I don't think we've really talked about run and guns that much, but I love them. You know, I grew up watching 80s and 90s action movies where you're just one guy taking down a whole bunch of dudes. Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, whatever. You know, you're one hero taking down a whole bunch of bad guys. And to me, run and guns are basically the 80s and 90s action movie put into a video game. There's one or two of you in this case if you're playing two-player, and you're just mowing down guys right and left for the greater good. And I love the genre. For numerous franchises of video games, when I played the first game in the series or the franchise, I didn't instantly become a fan of the franchise. I mean, I guess you have to play multiple entries for there to even be a franchise or a series. But I love the Contra series, but playing Contra and Super C did not make me huge fans of the series, and this game did. I absolutely love this game. So let's check out Contra III: The Alien Wars for the Super Nintendo. Alright guys, we are playing Contra III: The Alien Wars for the Super Nintendo. Just wanted to be quiet during that opening sequence. I'll pick up our barrier shield here. And we got a couple spreads. Yeah, what the heck. You can see here, sometimes the homing missiles don't quite go after enemies as quick as you'd like. But the one thing I will say about this game is I like how there are certain weapons that are better for certain situations. I didn't play a lot of Super C, but I played a lot of the original Contra as a kid. You know, basically in that game, it's get your spread shot, and that's it. You just head your way to the end. And that really isn't the case with this game. There are definitely situations where you want a specific weapon, because it's going to make your life a lot easier. Now the barrier, once it turns red, it's going to run out, and it changes pretty quick. I don't think I'm going to take that laser. And I'm going to switch to the crush weapon. This weapon is great for boss battles. If you press the L and R buttons, you can do this pose. If you press the fire button, you will shoot. But, you know, I always had to pose as a kid because I, you know, was acting like some 80s action hero, flexing my muscles and holding my big guns. And to this day, I still do that. If you haven't noticed yet, I allotted myself the maximum amount of guys, kind of like I did with TMNT, in the hopes that I can just proceed through the game and not use a continue. Basically to make less work for myself, to make the file size smaller, and then I don't have to spend time speeding up the video, because I used to... Oh, that was quick. The crush weapon's really awesome. And then I always like to run in here and basically act like I'm shooting his innards out. In earlier videos, like if I had to continue or I died and I didn't want to show you guys stuff you'd already seen, I would just cut it out. But I've decided that I think I'm going to start just speeding up the time frame of the video so that you can still see it, but it won't take as long. But if I don't have to continue, then I don't have to do any of that. And I'd like us to see every level. Sometimes you can get the ground to kind of trigger early. Like if you walk up to, oh my god, I can't believe I did that. But let's pick up the laser. Sometimes you can get the ground to trigger, or it's kind of funny, this is almost like a lightsaber. I'll take that back. Actually, I already have one of those. I don't know why I did that. I don't know. That was dumb. Let's see if I can get this to trigger. Nope. Basically, you can see those dark colored spots. That's where the pathway is that you want to make sure your guy is on. I'll take that. Something different. As a kid, I always liked to use a homing missile. It was like whatever was easiest that I could be as lazy as possible. You know, it's like, oh, I'm gonna default to using the spread shot because that's the way it was in the first Contra, and boy, this homing missile sure is nice because I can just be super lazy. I would basically just blow through guys and didn't really notice that there was some strategy. There's definitely certain weapons that you want in certain situations, so I'll try to highlight those. Like I mentioned, the crush weapon's great for bosses. As you can see, we blew through that guy in no time. And I want the flame. I just couldn't decide which weapon I really wanted to get rid of. this game does do a pretty decent job. It gives you weapons when you're going to need them, basically at specific times, but not always. They might be useful. Like, you might get them at the end of a level, but they might be useful at the beginning of the next level. The flame weapon, it's amazing. In the first Contra, I would have never used it. But in this game, it is pretty awesome. It works great for taking down those enemies. That guy you have to watch out because your guy will automatically grab onto his little arm thing that he's spinning there, and he can bring you down. I've died numerous times, especially as a kid in that, where I'd try to jump back onto that pole that was up there, but I couldn't. I didn't have enough height, and he would just bring me down. So here is a spot where the flame weapon works fantastic. Since the flame goes through objects, we can take out these missiles much easier. And if we were using a weapon that was not the flame weapon, basically our ammo would be impacting on the front of this enemy's face. And you would have to hope that you just got the timing right and that the missile will fly in there and hit your projectile and blow up. But this makes it much easier. We can basically hit it as soon as it ejects out of his back. I don't think I can reach these guys here. Oh. Let's move along. That was close. Alright, the ship's going to come out. It's going to drop some grenades. The homing weapon actually works really great here because there'll be a red eye, which is the weak point. And then it will shoot, you know, guys out of these hatches. The flame works pretty good too. You can usually catch guys as they're coming out, but the homing gun makes that part so easy, ridiculously easy. I already have my crush, so I'm not going to pick that up. And I'm going to ditch my trusty flame weapon for this homing gun, but I actually want to save that. I want to use that on the next level. And now we're at a boss, so we'll switch to our crush weapon, which, as you can see, makes pretty quick work. The blue robot stays on the ground, and that bronze-colored one will grab onto the walls and the ceiling. And now that we've dispatched of the two smaller ones, we get the big one. This is my favorite boss fight in the entire game. It's kind of like you're fighting a Terminator. And so he shoots these eye lasers, and you have to make your way around the room. That's like the main gimmick of this fight, is that you'll be making your way around the room. And I'm playing this on easy, so you can take the boss down pretty quickly. I don't want to take him down that fast because I want to show you everything that he does. So he does his flame breath, and we work our way around the room, and then he will set explosives out. And you basically just go to the other side of the room. He should be very close to being dead. There we go. That's interesting. His death animation is going on, and his laser beams are still going around the room. At this stage, I get like a futuristic Mad Max vibe to it. You know, it feels very post-apocalyptic, and we're like riding these hover bikes. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but the background's like a desert, and it just makes me think of Mad Max movies. So this is why I wanted the homing missiles, because we can farm three guys off of that, I think it's 3. And the homing missile does work pretty good for this spot. We can shoot the tank and the projectile that it shoots along with these jetpack soldiers that are coming on the screen. And then we should have the big blimp looking thing. The homing gun also works well too. We can destroy these laser generators. And there's some gun turrets. The flame weapon actually works pretty good on these gun turrets. Flame weapon's pretty strong. This thing sometimes kills me. Oh boy. Oh wow, I got past it. Wow. I have like a 50-50 chance of getting hit by that thing. So the red guys keep coming until we kill the black robot dude or whatever it is. Kill these laser generators. And there's this big honking cannon at the end of it, which sometimes hits me. Nice. Didn't even get a shot off. I got like a 50-50 chance of that thing taking me out too. And we get a little mini boss. This, whatever this thing is. I have real issues with this jetpack guy that's coming. I don't know. Oh my god. All right, don't drop off the missiles. Oh my god. I even had the homing weapon. The homing weapon makes this boss pretty easy. We have to shoot these 2 shield generators. And then there's like these little bomblet projectile things that are coming out. And when I talked in the other portion of the video about being able to play this game and having like the uttermost confidence, this is really the part of the game that I was talking about. I used to always offer to take the lower, I used to always offer to take the lower missile here and destroy the lower shield generator. I had utmost confidence in doing that without losing any enemies, without losing any guys. And I don't have that confidence anymore. That sucks. That occasionally happens. You will be going for a missile, and one of its projectiles will, well, change your plans. This is what makes the homing gun nice, is that you can just jump around. You can basically just ignore where the missiles are at. You can keep jumping and hitting the eye. And this part's hilarious. Like, there's this huge explosion that we are right point blank range in, but we survive, and we're holding onto this helicopter, and it's on fire. Like, that's awesome. That is just ridiculous and completely awesome. Okay, these overhead stages that feature Mode 7 are not overly popular. And I mean, for good... the first one's not that bad. This one I don't like. It's got all these things on the ground that force you around, and you've got these narrow pathways, which it is somewhat easy to fall off these pathways. Hopefully I can get... whatever. go. These moving areas that just, you know, go like right or left, those aren't bad. This is the one that sucks. Well, that sucked. All right. It actually is pretty easy to fall off these things if you're not paying attention. I think I went the wrong way. This is the top of the map? Yeah. That's fine. Well, you shouldn't actually pick this gun up. Like, the crush gun's great for bosses, but as you can see, the projectile does not go to the end of the screen, and it shoots very slowly. And for like basic enemies like this, you don't really need it. Even your regular machine gun is more than suffice to take your basic enemies down. Okay. Ooh, flame gun. Oh, come on. Oh, that sucks. Normally I would just use the crush thing on this. I'm trying to see if I can... Ooh, is that a flame? Nice. I just wanted to I just wanted to farm another weapon. All right, we are on the final stage. We are in the alien hive. Hopefully that spread goes away, because I do not want it. No thanks. That's actually a nod to the original game, the final boss being the heart with the little alien pods. I definitely don't want the laser. This boss guy is really weird looking. We'll switch to our crush. And I switched away from crush because I don't want to lose it. I would like to have that for the final battle, although I do believe we get another one. But hopefully I can dispatch him with my flame here. Nice. Alright, cool. There it is. This music is awesome. It sounds like the main theme from Predator, and I love it. Sometimes I have issues with this guy, just like that. I just screw up, and the flame weapon's pretty handy for that guy. It makes it pretty easy, but I don't know. Oh, that was my only bomb. Well, that sucks. We should get another weapon up here, and I think it's the flame. It is. You know, normally I will launch a bomb right here. And I don't know how to get past that part without getting hit. I have... Ooh, that was close. The flame weapon works really good right there, because you can hit both eyes and that orb on top of his head. And so now we will fight his brain. Those are the legs. Oh, he's staying close. I keep switching away from my C weapon just because I don't want to lose it. This is these surround you, and they eventually will close in. Got switched just in time. Same thing again, and there we go. Alright guys, that is Contra III, the Alien Wars for the Super Nintendo. One of my all-time favorite games for the Super Nintendo. This is the game that made me a Contra fan. I love it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video, and we will see you next time.